item 3, the police officers report. And can I get a motion on this one?
Okay, so, yeah.
Councilor Rico.
Move that we receive report for information.
All right, so with that, is there any questions or comments on this report? I had one, and I'm not sure if you'll know, but I'm just looking at the difference in the provincial fines is way down from previous, last year. I was just sort of wondering why, because when I look at the number of tickets issued under the province, it's up there, and yet the volume is, or the amount is way down. It's just wondering why. If, but you probably don't know that.
I don't have the answers, but I can. Unfortunately, Alan was unable to attend this meeting. He had an medical appointment today.
Okay.
So he wouldn't be here for this, but I can make note of that, and I will then get him to respond and include it in an email to council. That's okay. I suspect there's a valid reason for that.
Yeah, I noticed quite a few tickets were given out, but the
Yeah,
amount
it depends
is way
on
down.
the,
And was there something special in 2023 that brought
if
that
I'm
up?
not mistaken, I think there was changes in 2024, what things they couldn't take for. I'm just not sure. I confirm if it was very speedy. So I will confirm and report back to council by email.
Okay, that sounds good.
Oh, the other thing that I did get from Alan, I did want to ask. Oops, sorry about that. One thing I did want to clarify also, I did, even though Alan's not going to be able to be here today, I did ask him if there's anything that we want to just share with council at this time. And that one question was regarding the homeless camp, and so they're monitoring it, and they're going to be doing a cleanup there. It's not just yet, and they're working with the USCP on this. So it's a bigger problem than just something they would already handle with the other issues. And so, but they are working towards that, and then in the future, I'm sure we provide council with an update of what happened with that as much as we can.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Well, Alan was here. It says in his stats, there was 6 municipal warnings, and in the bottom notes, we can account for 2. I was just kind of wondering what the other 4 warnings were for.
Again, I'm unaware, I don't
Yeah.
see those, but it's a question that could be brought up.
It can actually wait till next time Alan
Okay,
presents.
yeah. Because I'm sure there's some in there that information you can give, some that you can't give, just because of confidentiality of that. I suspect some might have to do with the reads and that, I think he refers to it, but again, I don't know for sure.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we had a motion to receive this for information. All in favor? Okay, that is carried. Moving on to our minutes. Can I get a motion on our minutes, 5.1? Councilor Yashisha?
The council approved the minutes from the October 8th, 2024 regular meeting of council as presented.
All right, thank you for that. Any errors or omissions in the minutes? Councilor Stenhouse?
Well, I was just wondering, did you not receive the note from my mom saying that I wouldn't be in attendance?
Who are you referring that to? To me?
Yeah, because it says here, absent without notice.
I did not receive anything.
Okay.
Anything else? Seeing none, all in favor? Councilor Stenhouse, did you vote? I didn't see.
No,
that.
I didn't vote in favor.
Okay, opposed? Okay. And then moving on to business arising from the minutes. And we got Mackenzie Municipal Services Agreement. And can I get a motion on this one? Councilor Waco.
Council authorized Mayor Panasic and CEO Mindilin to sign the agreement renewal with Mackenzie Municipal Service Agency on behalf of the town of High Prairie for the period of January 1, 2025 to and including December 31st, 2029 at an annual cost of $92,866.41.
All right, discussion on this? Councilor Stenhouse?
So as you all are aware, we only have approximately 12 months left in our term. And I've always been against the previous council locking in a future council into long-term contracts. So I am not in favor of this motion. I would only extend it to the end of the year and let the future council renew whatever they want to do with this contract.
Okay. Anyone else? Councilor Danaka?
Councilor Stenhouse has sort of reiterated where I was going with this. I know we've talked about it before, and I'm not really sure exactly the services that we use, but unless somebody can tell me otherwise, I think that for what we pay, we underutilize MMSA. As far as, we do them, we've got them with their land use, the bylaw. I'm not sure what else they've done for the town to the tune of what they're asking for, but as Councilor Stenhouse had mentioned, I don't necessarily like locking in another council to a contract that they are unaware of and what the terms are, etc. So I could do this till the end of the year, like 2025, December, etc. But long term, it's a tough call for me.
Okay, we can probably get some answers to your first part of your question, but I'll let Councilor Waco go.
There is provision to withdraw from the agreement written into it. It's a year's notice, but I think that's fair. So if the new council comes in and decide that they want to withdraw from the agreement, if they don't see the value in it, they can do so.
Yeah, but with a new council, if it's a completely new council, they're totally unaware of what the agreement is, then they have to review it because they're unaware of what MMSA does, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So having that a year saying, okay, well, you can withdraw within a year by giving them a year's notice. You have a new council coming in, their first year of a new council is pretty much a whitewash and a write-off because everybody's still learning the process, everybody's still learning the procedures. So yeah.
But these things are covered in orientation. At least that's just me.
I see, Herman, did you want to speak? Oh.
Once every, from council, everybody can get, the representative from the state could speak. And then I'd like to have my own remarks at the end of it.
Okay, yep. We're all right for that.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Briefly speaking to the services, so it's very, very extensive in terms of the range of services that we provide. I would say that as it's right now, the town is one of our busiest members. We process all the development permits for the town, on average 30 or above, and they range from different levels of complexity. We handle all inquiries, questions about development proposals, with all land use bylaw amendments, questions around enforcement. We have, personally, my name is on the town's website. I do get lots of calls from people who are looking at development or have questions. Not everything goes through the town. Some come to us directly. There's a whole lot of things that we do. We apply for a grant on behalf of the town and 7 of our members, and have built a new web mapping platform that has so much. It's heavily used by public works administration for all kinds of things, including more recently asset management. We've been working on a recreation master plan and a variety of other things. We've done a sidewalk assessment. It's a very extensive list of projects that we've undertaken within the current contract term, and we hope to look for it to expand in that going forward. But about 3 years ago, or thereabout, the town previously used to have a development clerk who had some expertise in development and would handle some of the development issues and would only fall on us if they had questions or things that were beyond their scope. Since they left, we took on that role in its entirety. So, like I said, all applications come to us, we process them, we review them. There are all kinds of things that go into handling one development permit, from review, issuing notices, to final decision, preparing the decision, public notice, if and when there is an appeal, support, and all of that. So there's a lot that goes in, if I can speak to that. I believe it has been very beneficial. And from my personal speaking, my view is that administration is the one that deals with us a lot and see the services. So if they are happy with it, then unless they are not happy with it, then maybe that's when council comes in and say, no, it's not working for us, and maybe we need to switch or whatnot. Because if there is a disruption, that can affect the town significantly, without making arrangements for an alternative and whatnot. So the contract have been like this since the agency was set up in its current format, 5 years, and it's to ensure more like stability. And then, but as Councillor James mentioned, there is a training clause that if the municipality or the town realizes that it's not working in their favor, that you are able to get out within that notice period. But so far so good, I would say our relationship with the town has been very good, and we've been doing a lot more.
Okay, thank you. Go
If
ahead.
I could just add a bit to that, Connect. A lot of the things that MMSA does for the town, and on behalf of the town, or for the CAO, or for the people that are coming in here, and I was here 2 years ago working for a short time, but at that time we had 2 big projects, both the Dairy Queen at this end of town, and Tim Hortons on the other end. And there was no expertise in the town at all to put those kind of projects forward properly. It would have caused nothing but headaches and may have even lost a developer. The town does not have a development officer. It has in the past sometimes relied on the CAO, but it depends on the expertise of the CAO. CAOs are multi-talented, they have exposure to without having an expertise in. You need that, or you spend a lot of time with lawyers or consultants. The clerk you referred to, I don't want to mention names or anything. Yes, she was experienced, but was she knowledgeable? Not 100%, because I dealt with her on several issues myself, and this is just speaking not in this job, but in as a resident, and asked questions and was told, no, you can't do that. And subsequent to that, with her leaving, and I have checked back since, and yes, it was perfectly fine to do it, but she just misinterpreted things, and she didn't follow up, because she never had a change, she just wanted to go with it. But, and the other thing then is if you don't have an CAO with a strong background in development, and there's many backgrounds a CEO has to have, you do require a development officer. And that in its own would cover the cost of this agreement. Again, Deputy Mayor Wakefield stressed the fact that it can be renewed or can be taken out, but it's right now set up for a cost. It's fixed cost based on our current cost. So there's no increases to that, which is unheard of really when we're dealing with consultants. And so I think council would be wise to try and do this, and then if the new council comes in and finds they're unhappy with it, they can then have action on the cancellation of the agreement. But they're gonna be busy their first year, as you mentioned, with training and trying to figure everything else out, and whether they can figure out whether they need this or not, or what they need to do instead of. It's kind of hard to put that on them, and some of the decisions council has to make, our administration has to make, are long-term, whether it's we, when we appoint a lawyer or acts on us, our behalf, you can hire as you go along, or you can have somebody who's on retainer. Same thing with architects, engineers, the engineers, we have them, they are luckily mostly based on the projects, but I just want to stress that I think it's important that we do go ahead with this, up to council to decide that though. I just want to put my support.
Yeah, if I can briefly, just today there was an inquiry that came from Herman for addressing, artificial address for a property that needed a new address. That's something that if it's not done properly by technical person, because we noticed based on the GIS person who I assigned the project to look at, some of the ones that already existed were not rightly assigned, so it's messed up already. They're trying to fix it by doing it like this. So I think we retain professional planners and we try to expertise professional planning services. That's what we want to bring to bear and want to continue that to make sure that there's something done properly.
Councillor Shishin?
Yeah, I just wanted to make the comment that, I mean, the chances are when we fill this CAO position is the fact that it could possibly be not someone that has that amount of experience. So chances are we could be getting someone that of a newer to the CAO or like you say, maybe just not as in having that ability to be able to do that. So I look at that cost as, yeah, definitely as a position that we would need there. How long have we had, like how long have we been with
It was from 2015, that's when the town joined.
was with Troy? Yeah, and I think it was it our last meeting that you're presenting or that was presented
Yes.
some of the web mapping
Yes,
and
yes,
asset management.
yes.
So that's a huge amount of
It's a huge,
work
we
there.
spent many countless hours doing that. And if we were to build a town for that, that would be more than probably what we got for the grant itself. Yeah.
Right. So we have a
That's
lot
a
of work to
huge
do here in the community, and that's very valuable
Yeah.
services that come all together.
And it's very, very valuable. The feedback we've gotten from administration is phenomenal. It's a powerful tool.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Simmons?
Okay, so I have two. Let's start with the CAO. Okay, so I understand, I get it, that we've had Dairy Queen, we've had a few investments in the town lately. But at this price, could we not contract MMSA at an hourly rate for things that come up, or it has to be a solid contract?
Yes, because especially the GIS component, the web market, it's an ongoing service. So whether it's there and it's consuming resources, it has to be maintained, updated, upgraded from time to time. So it's very difficult, especially that aspect of our service, to be priced on an hourly basis. And like I said, if somebody picks up the phone, you have questions, they call us. Because not everything comes through administration, then we will say it might be challenging to structure it that way, because they will have to, this person called me and we had to build a town for it. So that model doesn't seem to work for it because of the range of services and the nature of the service itself. So there are, if only, let's say you have to do one planning document, the land use plan, a contractor can charge you 100,000 for that. All of that is covered. So if we are doing long-term projects, regardless of, so long as it's within the scope of services, we cover that. We don't charge you extra for, unless it's extensively outside our field, then we have to consume a lot of resources that we haven't budgeted for. Otherwise, we absorb all kinds of requests. Things that, normally speaking, we say, this is not traditional planning. We try to be very flexible and accommodate all kinds of uses. So, given what we are doing now, we may end up charging you more on if you go by an hourly basis.
And I appreciate that you offer these services, but are we using them?
I would say, there is a broad range. So one area that we've been very busy with the town is development applications. Like I said, development permits. And that's where a lot of it, because people want to build and build and whatnot. So not everything results in an application. A lot of them is inquiries and questions. Interpreting the land is like, can I do this? If I want to put up a fence, what should be the maximum height? If I want to put up this way, what should be my setback? How far can I be from my property line? Is this allowed? Is this sign? Can I install this here and there? All kinds of things. So we get a lot of those things, both from administration and from outside of administration, and then processing the actual permits. Many municipalities have several planners who only are hired to process development permits. So we've been doing that for the town. For my count, it's been over 100 in the last few, like I said, all kinds of, with different complexities. And if there's a major project, there's pre-application consultation, reviews, meetings, discussions, or like several hours. For example, the Chevron project, so, and then the Kim Hoffers and whatnot. So there is, it's not necessarily even throughout the year, but since the development currently, I would say we've been very, very busy with the town, very, very busy. Yeah.
And my next question is,
And sorry, just for some of the other aspects of the service, so like your planning document, we are scheduling a timeline for reviewing and updating it from time to time, So those will be on scheduled updates. Other ones may come up when the need arises. So if there's a subdivision, we are a subdivision authority, so we will handle that. So if nothing has come up, we can't force one through, but if it does come up, then we are available. If there's a major housing development, multi-unit, if somebody wants to subdivide a piece of land into multiple lots and then build all kinds of housing, potentially to require an area structure plan, because you want to do it properly, space it out, make sure your infrastructure is there and all that. Then we will build a plan, create a plan for you. So all of those options are still there. But, like I said, one big aspect is the GIS and mapping services, and it's something that consumes a lot of resources because there's different layers of data that we put on the system, and then as part of the grant project that we did, we send somebody to come here and collect additional data, including like your sidewalks. We've mapped all your sidewalks on the map, classify them into good, bad, and whatever, so you know which ones you need to replace from what time. We've included the hydrants, valves, and a couple of other infrastructure. There is more if we are able to, we'll go to different phases, we'll build dashboards, life cycle analysis, all of those things are there. So I think, and we plan to do more training to help administrations to understand the usability of the tools and to be able to utilize them, because that would make their work even easier for council, budgeting for infrastructure. So not everything is being used, but I think there is availability, there is a lot being done, and there is more when the need arises. Like I put it.
and so I went through this, but I want a better understanding on the fee schedule. We're in competition where we're paying the same price as the MD of Peace and the MD of Fairview.
Yes.
So is it all based on population? Wouldn't there be more work for MDs than towns?
Not necessarily. So if I'm to compare between the town and the MD, we've done more work and we've been more busier for the town because I serve as their primary planner for the town at the MD of Peace and MD of Fairview. It's been busy. I've devoted more hours to the town than the MD of Fairview. This year, the MD of Peace, and as with the town, they did the recreation master plan. The town zone is still, we are at the tail end of it now. But other than that, in terms of, because they have a development officer, both of them. So they fall on us when they have questions, but the town doesn't. So the town relies on us for all the development issues. The funding formula is based on population and I think it's a combined assessment. So that's the formula that has been used and that's what determines the grade or where you are. So if that helps.
Okay, yeah, that does help, thank you.
Okay, anybody, Councillor Martins?
Thank you. So I wanted to say to Councillor Stenhouse and Councillor Danaka, I completely hear you and I am with you on not locking a future council into any sort of contractual obligation and speaking for them. That said, I wanted to bring up 5 points with regards to MMSA and our work with them and our relationship with them for almost a decade. Having seen the workings of the planners, the expertise of GIS plus the asset management piece plus the development, so those 3 roles alone would be 3 times what we are contracted to pay them. The depth of expertise and the experience and the dedication, I've met these people, they're phenomenal. There's also clarity, and every time I ask them a question, I also wanted to talk about the efficiency, excuse me, the efficiency with regards to cost for us as a municipality. Fourthly, I wanted to add that I've seen the organization, you know, unfortunately I don't have it here, but just seeing their reports quarterly, they operate with fiscal responsibility. They pretty much, they're not a spendthrift organization. They've done a couple of things to mitigate the costs as of last year, where we share resources for administration. And finally, I wanted to point out that for us as a town, the benefit is networking. For example, when we had the issue of the runway that I forget what organization was trying to, you know, have us pay more, Spirit River and the others that we could communicate with on similar issues was a big deal. And to us councillors, what MMSA does is an invisible service, so we don't see it. We don't see the benefit like we would a tangible product. I find it highly invaluable. I would absolutely support the contractual agreement, knowing full well that if there was something that hasn't worked like it has in the last decade, any new council can pull up with reasonable notice. So I would be in favor, and I wanted to thank Comey and his team for their time. They just hearing them, just hearing the planners, and they've got a full complement of planners now. The GIS piece, I just asked Comey just during our break a question, and you know, the level of clarity and response that I get continually is superb. So I wanted to throw that in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Sasha. Appreciate it.
And just from my point of view, I know I'd agree in things like, I know asset management is one of our top priorities in terms of strategic planning for the town. And you guys are working on that with us, and along with the development side of things and the GIS side of things. I think that we're getting our money out of it when we're using those sorts of things. And I know, talking with our last CAOs, asking that question, do you feel we're getting the value out of this? They have said yes. So they're the ones, in my opinion, that are using it, know what we use it for. They felt that it's worthwhile. I do understand the concern about not locking in other or future councils. I do get that. I have to say that. But future council can opt out. There is that way to get out. So for me, I'm in the same boat of saying, yeah, I could support this. And it does give council a bit of time to get their feet underneath them, to learn what they're doing and how they're doing it and whether it should be done that way or not. So that's my viewpoint.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh,
Can I just add one last thing, Your Worship? The other thing that we haven't really mentioned is we talked about the projects that have happened that council's aware of. There's a lot of projects that council doesn't see the day-to-day. Somebody wants to just put a porch on their house or something like that. But then the other thing that they provide is that we have a potential developer coming to the community looking to do something. They need to have a strong point of contact to be able to contact and say, what do I need to do this? Unfortunately, that expertise is not here in this office, so we don't have someone to refer them to. They will walk away and go to the next community that can answer those questions. And I think it's important that we have something available for them to get those answers when they come along. You know, we've got some properties here that, you know, whether it be the old hospital facility or other vacant areas in town, and hopefully someday we'll get people coming here with an idea for what to do with those. And then to be able to give them the expertise and a good clarity on the answer they receive it's very important. You just can't go without that. And you know, the staff here is good, but they're not expertise. There's not a development clerk as such, and even when we've had development people here for as clerks, they've gone out and looked for answers, not always got the best answers. And the same thing is with the CAOs, myself included, it's just invaluable to them to have somebody there, because otherwise they're stepping on themselves.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Councillor Martins?
It'll be quick. I just wanted to let everyone here know, council, that our funding is, is dependent on asset management. If it isn't fully there, it's coming that way. So Saskatchewan was ahead of the curve by saying you must have these phases complete. So to me, that pays for itself right there.
I want closing comment.
Okay, we've sort of gone around it. Everybody's had a chance to speak, and we do need to move on. So with that, I'll sort of call the question on it, and I guess we had a motion to approve it for the 5 years. And I'll say all in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion's carried. Moving on then to 6.2, the amendment to the land use bylaw. Can I get a motion on this one? Councillor Waco.
Are we here, council gives second, hang on. Am I reading right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Council gives second reading to bylaw 05/2024 to amend the land use bylaw 15/2015 on this 29th day of October 2024.
All right. We've had lots of discussion on that already. Is there anything more to add to that? Councillor Stenhouse.
So I will oppose the second reading. And my reasoning for that is there's a reason that we have different zones in different areas, that we keep businesses in the business part of the town, we have industrial. We have, we've learned from our mistakes where we have approved industrial very close to residential, and we've had nothing but concerns and complaints about noise or resale value and stuff like that. So there's a reason that we zone the town the way it is, to keep it in its grouped area, to eliminate a lot of issues that may arise. And that's my reason for voting against the changing of the amendment of the bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Other thoughts? Councillor Donato.
I worked at the group home in Rycroft for about 2 years. It was in a residential area. As was stated by Brenda and as well by Michael, that They are an accredited,
Facilities.
supplier of the service, with the group home in Rycroft. There were specific standards that had to be met, specific, government standards, et cetera. Numerous inspections, pop-ins, drop-ins, to make sure that, the group home is functioning, that, all of the mandates are met. I understand I guess I understand the issues associated because it's new in a residential area. It's like, oh, I'm not really sure. I don't know if I want that. But for me, it's a government certified, sanctioned facility that will be closely monitored, closely inspected, closely maintained and watched by the government. I mean, I think it's a win-win for the community, in the sense that if it can help a child who is in desperate need of some stability, some, I don't know what else to say, stability, long-term care, et cetera, to transition back into their family. I personally, I don't see an issue, and maybe that's because I worked in a group home for 2 years, so I understand the facility and how they work.
Okay, thank you. Others? Councilor Martins?
Oh, no, go ahead. You were first, sorry. I don't mean to.
So I'll ask this now, either our CAO or MMSA. What was the number of letters sent out? I know we said wait until this point, so I'm asking the question again.
Yes, actually, I drafted the letter of administration. I don't know how many properties or addresses the letters were sent to.
Staff advised me that everybody in that court received a letter. I know the apartments that are next door that belong to Red River Housing, I did usually get a response back from him, and he had no issues with that at all. And I believe it also went into the next court behind that too, so the second court. That some of the addresses from the front to the rear end onto it. But, so I went to all of them. Again, this was only in regards to the bylaw. Now I want to make that stressful, that's what we're doing. At the time, we're looking at a discretionary use for the property in residential. It's not a primary, if it's a primary use, then automatically it's almost an approval. With the discretionary use, the developer has to be able to then prove to the developing authority that what he's doing, whether the promise is monitoring, he's got being monitored, whatever else is going on, that has to be gone through. If the approval is given by the authority as a discretionary use, that then, correct me if I'm wrong, that then goes out again to the neighboring properties and is advertised, and they have an appeal period, and they can submit a appeal.
Yeah, not necessarily. The decision gets, right now as is.
Yeah.
It gets posted on the town's bulletin board here. I'm not sure if it's advertised on your social media and website. Yes, but people have the option, they have 21 days if they are unhappy with the decision to appeal it. Then to go to the subdivision development appeal board. Again, we've looked at it professionally. We don't, based on the proposal and what is pertaining in other communities, we don't anticipate, not saying with certainty that it will create any issues, but we don't anticipate that's going to cause major headaches or problems for the community. And like I said, something that is elsewhere. There are ways to, it's quite regulated. It's quite regulated. So,
I'm not sure if John had a question, I saw a hand.
John, did you have a question? Did you have a question regarding the,
Turn your mic off. Turn your mic off there.
did you have a question regarding the land use plan? Okay. Okay, we've got a, did you want to speak once more?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something. You know, a part that kind of interests me about this too, is if it is approved, would this force group homes that are operating already to then like do it properly? You know what I mean? Would it force, if you're stating that we have if this goes forward, if other group homes are operating, does that require them to fall under the bylaw, or how does that work? Like,
yes, so as is currently defined in the land use bylaw, there is language about it being a licensed facility. So if the town becomes aware of other homes or other facilities that are operating without provincial license, the town can issue a stop order to those.
yeah,
So for the neighbors and different things that are worried about you know, them being regulated and following a certain set of rules at least, that's why I wanted to do it this way, and that's why I went through licensing. We could have tried to go through like a DFNA and got our license and operated maybe another community or something like that, but we wanted to go through the province and have everybody aware that we are operating. I don't want people unaware that we're operating. So that's just something to consider as well. We're trying to be up front as much as we can about everything. Well, everything's transparent. They have to, right from our files to everything they have to go through for accreditation. But it just kind of like, you know, it puts people that are concerned about it, at least they're aware of it, and kind of forces other people to do it properly as well.
Thank you. I had a question just around, for me, I'm fairly comfortable with knowing what Michael wants to do and this one. I'm more looking forward to, we're making this a discretionary use, and then somebody else comes in and wants to put in a group home. How does that get vetted to make sure that the proper things are in place so that we're comfortable? Like right now, we've had a good process, we've had a chance to talk to it. In the future, what would that look like if a future one came to our community?
Thank you, Mayor Brian, for the question. So because it's being enabled as a discretionary use, each future application will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. If it had been enabled as a permitted use, that would have meant that if somebody applied for a group home, met all other requirements in the land use bylaw, then they are entitled to a development approval or development permit. But because we chose to specifically enable it as a discretionary use, that allows the development authority to consider a host of factors in making a decision, including impact on adjacent landowners. So if somebody brought a proposal to house 10 people with troubled backgrounds in court, the town is not obliged to approve it. So the bylaw that we are proposing includes or allows the development authority to obtain information about the age and social characteristics of the residents, more information